Hi, my name is Daisy, and my presentation is on password and Wi-Fi safety. A brief overview of what I will be talking about is password tips, difference between secured versus unsecured Wi-Fi, and the do's and don'ts of Wi-Fi safety. But before I get into that, I want to ask a few questions on password safety. Is your password the same as your username? Is your password for your email account the same for your other online accounts? Do you use private information for your password? Do you save your passwords on public computers? If you answered yes to any of these questions, your account may have a higher susceptibility of being hacked. But do not worry, I have some tips that will help you strengthen your password. So here are some tips to make your password stronger. Tip number 1, make passwords long. The reasons why you should create long passwords is because hackers are able to hack a password that's 3 characters long in less than a second. So because hackers are able to hack shorter passwords, the more longer the password, the more difficult it is to decipher. So when possible, strive to make your passwords long. Tip number 2, do not reuse passwords. And I know this isn't the easiest thing to do, even for myself. But for every account you open up or you sign up for, you should have a different password. The reason being is if you create one password for all of your accounts, all it will take will be for a hacker to hack into just one of your accounts to have access to your other accounts. So strive to create different passwords for each account. Tip number 3, do not change your password regularly. It used to be suggested that you should change your password frequently, anywhere from 1 to 3 months. Changing your password frequently can actually make you more susceptible to hackers. What may be a better alternative is to start with a strong password. However, if you have been notified about a data breach, you shouldn't change your password. Tip number 4, avoid using personal information. You shouldn't use a birthday, address, or a special occasion for your password. You want to make sure that information is nothing personal. With social media, it's actually easier for people to find out personal information about you. And the same goes for security questions. You want to make sure your answers do not contain any personal information, just because it's easier to access that information nowadays. Tip number 5, use a password manager. And this is going to help you with tip number 1. If you're going to make your passwords long and you're like, how am I going to remember these passwords? Or with like tip number 2, how am I going to remember all my different passwords for each account? There's this resource called LastPass. With this resource, it helps you save and autofill your passwords. It has a built-in password generator. It autofills some of your forms when shopping. And what's great about this is that it's free. They do have premium options, but it's free, so I definitely for the most part it's free, and there's other services that they might charge you for, but I definitely recommend this for you if you're going to try to change your if you're going to try to use different passwords for different accounts, or make your passwords more complicated, and you're wondering how are you going to remember all this information. LastPass is a great resource for you. Tip number 6, you want to check the strength of your password, and there's a great resource for this as well. There's a resource called passwordrandom.com. With passwordrandom.com, what's great about this resource is that it allows you to check how strong your password is. So if let's say if you decided to use the word or to use a password butterfly 235 or 234, It shows me how strong this is, and I could see what I would need to do to make it more strengthen it. So this resource is called, it's passwordrandom.com. So I definitely recommend this. Let's see. So those are my tips to make your passwords, to strengthen your passwords. Now we're going to transition to Wi-Fi. With Wi-Fi, there are two kinds of Wi-Fi networks: secure and unsecured. Unsecured, there's no passwords needed. With secured networks, there is you have to create an account, or passwords are needed. Some Wi-Fi safety do's and don'ts. Do's: do connect to secured networks whenever possible. They are a lot safer and more trustworthy. You want to also turn off your automatic connectivity. Your electronic device may be automatically set up to connect to a local network and hotspot, and you want to make sure this feature is disabled or turned off so you are not connected to a network that you wouldn't trust. You also want to monitor your Bluetooth connectivity. And again, Bluetooth connectivity allows you to connect to devices, allows you to connect one device to another. So depending on where you are going, you may want to disable this function as well. A don't for Wi-Fi safety: do not shop online when using an unsecured network. When you are purchasing something online, you are including personal information that you would not want anyone to see, which is why you shouldn't use an unsecured network. Also, you don't want to access personal bank information while using an unsecured network. Again, this is personal private information that you don't want anyone to get a hold of. Any purchases or accessing of personal information should all be completed under a secured network. I hope you enjoyed my presentation, and I hope you found it helpful. Thank you for watching.